Okay, Dr. Conway says fired. Okay, wonderful. Okay, so much growth, Dr. Shah, so much growth. That's exciting. Dr. Nyaka says, just amazing. Oh, wonderful. I'm wonderful. That's so good. I'm so glad that it has been, the funny thing about Dr. Una is that you can be around her all the time or be around her, for some time, but you never can learn too much from her. Does that make sense? It's almost like, because each of the sessions, not only that we have a lot of the authors, we also had a lot of EBS students, and I'm sure they will say the same thing. Like, it's like, wow, I've heard Dr. Una talk about this before, but it seems like it's fresh and it's new, and it's like I'm learning all over again, which is so incredible. Dr. Una is such an incredible speaker. I just love the fact that she simplifies everything. She simplifies these concepts, makes you feel like, you know what, I can do this. Can get this done. And the fact of the matter is you absolutely can do it. These incredible physician entrepreneurs that wrote this amazing book, Made for More Life, have proven that you can do it, have proven that you can do it afraid, you can do it scared, you can do it unsure. And you can build a profitable business. You can do so many things. You can live the life of your dreams. Day one, we heard about the life of your dreams with the amazing Dr. Toomer and Dr. Whaley Gray. I mean, it's just been a great conference. So I have the honor and the privilege of interviewing some of the authors. It's just an amazing job that I have. I always tell people I have the best job in the world. Sorry, I don't know about you. But I have the best job in the world because now do I get to work with Dr. Una, who is so much more than a boss. She's a mentor. She has someone that really cares about anyone that she works with, and that includes the physician community. She has such a great love and a passion for them. She wants every physician to learn entrepreneurship because she wants the physicians to be the leaders in the healthcare space. But I mean, who else should be the leaders in the healthcare space? Right? So, she wants you guys to be the movers and shakers and deciding for yourself how you're going to practice medicine, how you're going to live your lives. And that's just the type of person she is. So she's made it her mission to do this for other people. That's just how she is. So she's a wonderful person. So that's one of the reasons why I have the best job in the world. The second reason why I have the best job in the world is all of the physician entrepreneurs that I've met, that I love. I sincerely love.
Yeah.
Love you all. And it is just a privilege and an honor. And I'm just so excited to share the stories tonight. So we are going to start. I know. I mean, anyone excited to hear the stories? Where do you know what's going on? It's made for more. Let me see in the chat who's excited. I see Dr. Jess here. Is Dr. Diego here? That I saw her. Let me see how excited you are. We just can't wait. This is going to be amazing. Oh, you're here. Who's excited? Dr. Conway's excited. Awesome. Dr. Conway's rooting for everyone. All right, awesome. I'm going to start with Dr. Mitra, and I'm so afraid to say your last name wrong. So when you introduce yourself, let us know the correct pronunciation, and also let us know what has it been like being a best-selling author. Have you gotten used to
it? No.
You've got your book.
I do. Thank you so much. I hope you can hear me because so basically I can't even believe it. We did this chapter last year. I did a chapter and I'm thinking, I don't know, but anything is possible in the EntreMD business school. I mean, it's just been amazing. Things that I never thought I would be able to accomplish, not because I couldn't, not because I don't have the ability, but simply because, the supportive network that is part of EntreMD, just the sisters and brothers, mostly sisters, has been just amazing. So no, I have not gotten used to it, although other people are like, what? You have a chapter in a book, outside of our EBS community. And it's just been great. My name is Mitra Ayazifar. I'm an ophthalmologist in Northern California. And my practice, I'm the CEO of Capital I Medical Group. That would be myself. So I am a solo practitioner. And I basically am living my bonus life. This has been, pretty amazing. And that's the name of my chapter. And what I love about EBS is that it reminds me that I have accomplished a lot. We tend to, as physicians, we tend to think, well, I haven't done that. At least I am. I don't know about you guys. Mm-hmm. Well, I still need to do that. I need to do that. I really haven't done much. And the beauty of EBS is that we're reminded, okay, well, especially at the end of the year or the year-end review, right? Mm-hmm. Dr. Una asked us to write down what your wins have been, or kind of look back and see what you've accomplished. I was quite impressed by what I wrote.
Really?
Whereas before that, I thought, oh my gosh, I don't know if much has happened. So it's been fantastic. I think my idea or my affirmation for 2023 is I am enough and I am limitless. And that is the major way that I go through each day, because some days I don't feel it, or I have to remind myself, or one of my EBS network sisters will remind me, or brothers will remind me, because we will have that up and down. There are days where I have fear along with it, but we still take steps. So it's been amazing.
That is so powerful. I'm like, I need to write that down on my wall. I am limitless. I need to write down that anything is possible. To actually, when I'm hearing you say it, I know it sounds, but when I'm hearing you say it, you believe it.
I do.
You believe it. And that's saying a lot. It's saying a lot that you can believe that, and you're not believing it because you're so overconfident. You're believing it because and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you're saying, I have what it takes. I have the support. I have everything I need in order to do everything, in order to be limitless. So I just have to step out and do it. So is that what you're saying?
Correct. If I think the feeling of overwhelm, which we don't do, comes in with the mistake of thinking that we have to reinvent the wheel, but we don't. There's so many people in this group that I reach out to, and I just ask my questions, or, kind of 10 people will reach out, or 20 people will reach out and say, this is how I've done it, and just so supportive. I don't have to come up, trial and error. It's basically other people that are ahead of me, in a way, in their practice or in the area that I want to go into, that have done it and can, smooth the way. And it's been amazing. It's been amazing.
That is so good. I know one thing that Dr. Ono always stresses, that the EBS Commonwealth, the community. Anytime you hear about EntreMD Business School, you're going to hear about the community. The community is everything. But can you take us back to before EBS? I want to see what changes occurred, because this person, there may be someone looking at you like, oh, I don't know. She's, I don't know. She's overly, she's got it all together. So let us know what it was like before. You have a wonderful business. What was that like before EBS?
So right before I signed up for EBS, I probably was lurking for a few months, and I had been employed for about like a W-2, employee of a group private practice. And I had been with them for maybe 13 years or so. And, I was not seeing any partnership or anything else coming up. And I wasn't quite sure that was the way that I wanted to practice. I see my patients more. I say that I treat more than their eyes. They're more than that to us. So when they come in, they feel like they're, everything is taken care of. Their concerns are taken care of. So before EBS, right before I decided, okay, I need to be true to my bonus days, my healthy days on this earth. And I essentially thought, okay, I will start my own. And with minimal stress, if possible, with the lowest amount of stress at the time, in order to serve my patients. And I found a practice that, an optometry practice actually, that I could share, office share. And so that is how I started. But how to go forward with marketing or anything else was just unbelievably new to me. I had no idea. I mean, putting myself out there and doing live videos, it took me 3 months, Facebook Live after EBS before I actually did that. I did not think I was the type of person who was able to do that. But we all have that capability. It was the encouragement. As a matter of fact, I think it was Dr. Nikita Shah in the first, first mastermind, not mastermind, but like a group private practice that we had. She's the one who said, okay, choose a date, pick a date to do your live. So I think it's that type of accountability and that type of encouragement that really changed me as far as believing that I could do it, myself, that I am limitless, that I have all these people in my network that are going to help me do that are there. If I ask, it will happen. I just need to take steps. Just take steps. And so that's what I've been doing.
That is so wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me a little bit of what Dr. Una has been saying throughout this week. Make the decision and then be committed to it. You've already made the decision that, you know what, I'm going to just open my own practice. Not sure how, I'm not sure what to do when it comes to the marketing aspect of it, but I'm going to do it. And then you're committed to it. But the beauty of being committed is that you don't have to be committed by yourself. You have the accountability of the group in EBS, and it's just fantastic. I am so blown away by the level of support that I see in our Facebook group. I'm in other groups and I've never seen anything like it in any other group. Can anyone else attest to that is in EntreMD Business School? There's no other place like that where you have that level of support and that level of accountability. So that's really amazing. What would you say to somebody that's kind of on the fence? They're wondering, you know what, I think that this sounds kind of good, but I'm just wondering if maybe this is the right time. Because do you know, Dr. Mitra, I meet a lot of physician entrepreneurs who tell me, you know what, I'm thinking about starting a practice, but I don't think now's the time to join EBS because they think that they need, I don't know. I'm not sure what they think they need. I think they think they need more time to kind of work through it on their own, or, they're just thinking, I'm just starting, so now is not the time. What would you say to someone like that, or someone that's on the fence?
As a matter of fact, I think right now is probably the best time. And, I'm a big believer in think about how you want to live your life. Is it okay the way it is? And that's perfectly fine. If your practice, your professional life, everything else is the way you like it, great. But even if you're thinking, I'm not sure, I think there's more, but I'm not sure what it is. I remember walking around in one of the vision retreats going, yes, I'm practicing. I'm not sure. I think I need to be doing more. And I couldn't quite figure it out. So, is it coaching? Is it podcasting? As a matter of fact, right now I'm thinking, oh, maybe that would be cool to, invite all these different doctors. So right now is the best time, I think. If you're wondering what can you do and whether there's something else that you want to do, this is the place, this is the community that will help you, find the answers and help, keep you accountable as far as what you would like to accomplish. There's no better time, honestly.
she learned, oh, I wanted to say, thank you. She learned all of the things that she was afraid to do, because now you go live every week, right? At least every week, I think I see you going live, and her business has grown. So what wins have you had in your practice since starting?
Absolutely. So as far as my practice, I mean, I think beginning to do the Facebook Lives, and also just communicating with patients in my own community, which one of the practices is about 40 miles away. But in that community, I have seen the reputation grow, my brand grow. Patients are coming from everywhere, I would say, even outside of the state, because their friend or family member or whatnot has been coming in. So even if I stopped marketing or going to see referral sources, I think that would still flow. But the main thing about EBS is that we are taught not to, there's so much personal growth, even at this stage. I feel like, well, maybe I'm too old to start my own practice. Maybe I'm, it's just not the time. It's not all of that. It is the time. There's so much learning to be had. So many of these doctors in the EBS community I have learned from and continue to learn from, no matter what age, no matter what stage of life or anything. And there's so much that I can communicate to them about practice, and what maybe for them to kind of work through what's important in life, because nothing is guaranteed. So think about what kind of footprint or imprint or impact do you want to leave in this life. I think that's so important, and other people will recognize the change in you before you do. I guarantee it. It's been amazing.
Wow. Can we give clap hands or show some love to Dr. Mitra in the comments? That is so, so powerful. Who knew that business is the way for you to leave an impact? Who knew that business and entrepreneurship, is the way for you to be able to live the life that you've wanted, and to have more time for yourself and more time for the things that matter most? So that is so amazing. I'm so glad you shared your story. I'm so glad that we get to be a part of your bonus life, and the best is still yet to come. So excited for your business growth, and thank you so much for sharing your story. Thank you, Dr. Mitra. Really appreciate it. The link is in the comments, EntreMD.com/business. I always encourage people to leave an application. An application is not a contract. It's just that. It's just an application. I will be, and you get to talk to me. I'm nice to talk to. I'm going to call you and we're going to talk about it. And believe me, there are people I tell them, you know what, I'm thinking that the business school might not be a good fit for you. So I'm not going to pressure you in any way, because we love our community and we want to keep it, with people who are a good fit. So, and if it's not a good fit, I'm going to direct you to something else. So either way, we want to support you on your journey, and we're here. So fill out an application, and guess what? I strong arm Dr. Una. I twisted Dr. Una's arm, and she's gonna give away a one-on-one session, for anyone that pays in full, that knows that they're ready. If you know that you're ready, you're paying in full, you get a one-on-one session with Dr. Una. And that alone, that one-on-one session, 20 minutes alone, is a $2,500 value. So like Dr. Mitra said, don't delay. Now is the time. Now is the time. Congratulations, best-selling author. Thank you so much for your time today. Now I'm going to bring on the amazing Dr. Laura Hoffman.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good to see you. So glad you could come on. Thank you for taking the time. Tell me what it's like to be a best-selling author.
It's crazy. I still don't feel like I've ingrained that into my identity. I'm just like, no, I was this writer in a book, but I'm not a writer. The book is a best-selling book, but I'm not a best-selling author.
She wrote a chapter, so she's a writer. And she's a best-selling author. Yeah, Dr. Judy said you are now.
Yeah, it's so fun. It's really cool.
Proud for it. Oh my goodness, do you know that Dr. Una didn't have a single chapter in that book?
It's
Dr. Una
crazy.
didn't have a single chapter. So you guys are the ones. You know, this is amazing. I'm so proud of you.
Well, and I think the craziest thing about everything is that my biggest fear in life, bigger than anything, speaking in public or anything, is writing. And so this book is me overcoming my fear, which is not what I even wrote about, but the fact that I can look back on how I mean, there was a lot of drama in writing this book chapter because this was me overcoming my fear. But I know Dr. Una always say yes. So when Dr. Una said, who wants to write a chapter? I was like, oh, yes. And I'm so glad I did.
Yes. That what you said reminds me of what Dr. and I often talk about. You know, if you don't say yes now, it's okay. But what about a year from now? You know, like now that the opportunity is in front of you, a year from now, you would have been someone that achieved it rather than someone still dreaming about it. So that's what it reminds me of. Can you tell us of what life or business was like for you before EBS?
Life before EBS, I was a completely different person. Life was completely different. I felt like I was an island. Like I was the only physician who felt like we have the ability to change medicine. I felt like, I didn't realize that there were other people out there who also were making a change and were also, advocating for ourselves and advocating for our peers. And I also did not have the confidence that I have now. I didn't know that I could do 90% of the things that I know I can do. I've learned, all the things that I had no idea I liked. I was a different person. My life was different. My business was pretty much non-existent. I joined like right after I formed the LLC. I didn't know the amazing people I know now. It's just entirely different.
Oh, that's great. I didn't know. I'm trying to remember. So you didn't even have a business at the time.
No.
When you joined.
I formed my LLC and then joined a week later.
Look at you. Oh, yes. Now I remember. We talked about it on the phone. You fast fashion taker. So what is it? So what's happened since then?
So since then, well, I'll say what I do. So I'm the medical matchmaker. I help doctors find practices where we can really enjoy practicing medicine and we can be respected and have the flexibility and autonomy to practice as we feel fit. So I've really honed in and felt comfortable finding the practices or, vetting the practices to make sure that they're going to treat their physicians well. And from there, I go find the doctors for these practices. Some of the physicians that I speak to looking for jobs are not looking for any of the practices that I'm offering. And so I'm now able to go out and help them find those practices. So I've helped doctors find some pretty crazy jobs. I work with direct primary care practices. I work with small physician-owned practices, rural, urban, big cities like Boston. I have small cities in the middle of nowhere. It's been fun. And so, business-wise, I never would have dreamed that I would do this. I have a YouTube channel, like, what the heck? And I love it. Like, I would have never guessed that I would enjoy YouTube. I have a weekly LinkedIn Live. It's on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook, where I show doctors what's possible, or teach about financial independence or whatever it is. And I've had people tell me multiple times how I've changed their lives. It's different, different. It's good.
To have people tell you how you've changed their lives, and it's crazy. And the fact about it is you already love doctors. Like you wanted to help doctors, you wanted to advocate for doctors. So here you are getting paid for it. Something that it's you're combining your passion with, with your business, which is powerful. I mean, you're living your best life, I think. That is wonderful. And I love the fact that you tell us how the skills that you didn't have before, the things that you didn't think you could do before.
Her mommy
Sure.
about it. Okay.
Which is really, really amazing. I always am so impressed, with seeing the transitions that we make in EBS, right? Like, I did a video and I didn't die. Oh, check out this website. Tell me what you guys think. It's just amazing because of the weekly live calls. I think are very powerful in those things. We've got the challenges that are monthly challenges that really help you take your business to the next level, help you build momentum. And then of course, there's the Facebook group. So tell me about some of the wins. I know you said that you have people telling you every week how you've made a difference. Are there any other wins that you want to share with us in your business?
Oh, I feel like I've shared a few. I mean, business wise, my revenue's growing. I kind of keep adding or toying with the idea of adding certain lines of business. So I added coaching for doctors who, I mean, it's not coaching in the traditional sense, but doctors who are, looking for a little bit of help through the interview process. So I've started helping doctors with their resumes and how to prepare for interviews and all of that. I've helped a physician advocate for herself in a way that increased her revenue, her salary, and the whole department's salary. I mean, wins, I feel like, similar to what Mitra said, where, I think back, I'm like, gosh, I haven't done anything. And when I think about it, I'm like, holy moly, what?
You made big changes.
Yeah.
What you do is so important. What you guys agree? Like, she's helping physicians find top-notch jobs that are not just top-notch jobs in the sense of salary, but that will be supportive to them. Because I know, we've talked about it. You're helping them find a job that's going to be supportive, that's going to be a win-win situation for them as well. That's huge. What you do is so important. It's so vital. And it's so needed in the physician community. And you're a physician, so you get it. You understand them. So congratulations to you. This is wonderful. What would you say to anyone that's kind of on the fence, that's wondering, you know what, because you did it right after your LLC. You signed up right after your LLC, that may be thinking, I'm not sure if I don't really have a business idea yet. I haven't really done much yet in business. Would the EntreMD Business School be right for me? What would you say if somebody were to say that to you?
The skills that you learn in EBS are so transferable. So even if I decided today I was going to stop doing what I'm doing, I could use those skills for anything. So whether you have a business or not, I don't think it matters that much as long as you're willing to engage, So even if I didn't, do my medical matchmaking, I've learned so much about how to speak to people and how to, here I am losing my words when I'm trying to tell you that I can find my words, but but I've learned how to, say what I'm thinking most of the time, or I've learned how to feel comfortable asking, for reviews, or asking, which I don't do very much, but I've learned to get comfortable asking people for things. And I've learned, here I am today doing this, and I put myself out there. I was like, let me be on here, please. And that was really hard for me to do, but
No.
I don't have that fear of the fear anymore. And I think that, even if you don't have a business idea, if you want to do something, whatever you do in EBS is not wasted, because you can use it for anything.
That is so true. And Dr. Hogman, you may not remember, but I think there was a few people that have found you different places, and that's given you other opportunities. They've referred you to large networks, and all kind of things have happened just from them seeing you. So you're doing an amazing job. And I love what you said about just that what you learn from EBS is so transferable, and the skills are so vital, that so many people have started with one business idea and it's grown and blossomed into so many other things. So if you're thinking about it, if you're wondering about it, the link is in the comments. Go ahead and fill out the application. Let's give a round of applause for Dr. Hockman, who took the time to speak with us today. We are so grateful for your story, so grateful for what you're doing for the physician community. It is literally priceless. And I'm so excited to see you doing so much more in the future, you know, because more doctors need you, especially, you know, with all the things that's happening in healthcare. Your services are super, super, super important. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks.
Next, we have the amazing Dr. Nikita Shah, who's going to tell us all about what it feels like to be a best-selling author, how, you know, she's been signing books everywhere, her global her global book signing tour. Let us hear all about it, Nikita.
So thank you. I'm Dr. Nikita Shah. I'm an obesity medicine doctor in Orlando, Florida, and the founder of Weight Sense Lake Nona. The book thing's been kind of unreal. And I think the cutest thing is just my children getting the book and opening it and seeing their mom like face inside of it.
And seeing your name.
Yeah. And I think it just highlights that really anything is possible. And even when something seems hard, like we can figure it out. So that's been my biggest takeaway from this whole process is like, we're learning along the way and let's not put it out of sight. Like we can do things.
Yes, we can do hard things. I mean, author probably wasn't on your radar, you know, a year and a half ago, but here you are, best-selling author. That's powerful.
Exactly.
That's so good. Tell me a little bit about your business or your life before EBS, please.
So my life before EBS started, I had this thought about opening up and it's really what my chapter is about, but opening up a side practice or like a side gig of a practice. I really had this calling to start my obesity medicine practice, and I was just not certain of how I'd go about it. And I had a wonderful employed position where I worked with great people, had great patients, really just the perfect setup. So I felt kind of crazy to even think that like, let me let this go to go pursue something else, because I wasn't running away. It like where I was also like really fabulous. But inside of me, it just felt really heavy. Like I wanted to create a practice. I wanted to have a practice probably ever since I started medical school. I just, over the years, it kind of just beat its way out of me, and I didn't think it was possible. So I started my small micro practice, thinking that it'll be possible to do it 1 or 2 days a week when I'm not working at my other place. And I started to realize like this needs to be my full-time focus and position, especially in the way that I want to grow and how I want to spend my time. And EBS really streamlined it and made me realize that the fear I have is normal, that we can do hard things, we can have fear and still go towards that discomfort. Being in EBS also helped me see that like we just have to strategize. We're physicians. We learn to, know every vertebrae and all their particles, and we know how to read a Chem 7. And really all we have to do is just use strategy to figure out how to create our business and do what we want in life. So when I'm here on our weekly calls, or when I'm, just collaborating with our physicians and taking time to just connect with the community and learn from Dr. Una, things just start to make sense. And I think there's so much wisdom in our growth, in our group. So then we just grow, whether we're wanting to grow or not, we grow. I've had some challenges this past year, like in my personal life, family life, and I've utilized the EBS principles. So when Dr. Hockman said like skills are transferable, I've been able to really handle many situations that were thrown at me and with grace, and still know that things are okay and we're going to move forward. So this is what I would have never known these things had I not joined EBS. So it's been a blessing.
That is so amazing, because who would think that you would learn things in business that will help you stand and be able to, overcome some personal, challenges. That's really amazing. And I love the fact that you said we can do hard things. That's one of our mantras in EBS. We can do hard things. And, we do it as a group, we do it collectively, and we do it supporting one another. Do you have any specific wins in business that you want to share?
Actually, I think the biggest takeaway is that I'm practicing in a capacity where I feel like I'm the best doctor I can be. So it's not, I'm not really at a place where I feel like I am choosing my career over like being a mother or my family or my personal well-being. I feel like it's all just synergistically working together. And that's been very important to me, I think, through like the evolution of my medical career is I want this to work with me, not against me. So that's been really good. And the other big win I have is I think that when I recognize that I am like a startup business, like I am here and I have a lot to grow and learn. I could think of myself as really little, but within EBS, I realized like I'm here, this is where I am, and it's okay. And I just think allowing for this phase and it to be okay. And I am okay with it. So it again, as things come in and as I have to grow and change and morph my team and my business, I'm like appreciating the entire journey. So it's like, seeing children grow up, like when they're babies and they're toddlers and teenagers, I appreciate it in the phases so much more that like one day I'll have a full grown adult that I won't have to take care of every day. That'll be awesome. So yeah, those are my wins.
Those are huge wins, Dr. Shah. I hope you realize that those are huge, huge wins. Can we give round of applause, clap hands, any type of comments you can in the chat for her? Because you are actually the minority if you feel like you can practice medicine without sacrificing your family and without sacrificing your well-being. Most people feel like something has to give. Most of the physicians that I've spoken to feel like something has to give, but you're able to do it all and practicing the way you want. And the other thing is being satisfied with where you are, but still looking forward to more growth, which is fabulous. It's a really, really wonderful win. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, I think that, like, I think about it, like I've probably wanted to do this for 5, 7, like several years before I started it. And I needed this type of support to move forward. Like I had already started the business, but it could have just ended like I think my brain feeling like spaghetti noodles, just like crazy. But now I just feel like there's a method, and there's a method towards like growing and finding like, and then like appreciating each step of like the success pathway. So it's great. And I would tell anybody who's on the fence, like this is just such a positive group and we are so uplifting and the answers here are just tremendous. And you can't find it anywhere. So I just think like invest in yourself and do this. Like this has been fantastic.
That is so wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Shah, for sharing. Now, she mentioned that the success path is actually an EBS thing. So what Dr. Una has, it's systemized, the strategy of getting your business from one stage to the next, and the next in a profitable way. And that's what the success path is. And we take so much time through our weekly live calls, through our challenges, through our success groups, to help you along the success path. So if you're thinking about it, the link is in the comments, EntreMD.com/business, fill out an application. It's actually, I've heard it so many times, and I think I can repeat it because I've heard people say so many times, like the best decision they've ever made. And I think a few of the authors are nodding their head like, yeah, this is the best decision we've ever made, because you're not an island. You get to learn everything that you need to learn. You get the skills that you need, and you get the support. So it's just fantastic. Thank you so much, Dr. Shah, for your time. We're so grateful. And thank you for your story. This is so amazing. And we agree with you. We agree with your kids that they have an amazing mom. Thank you. Now, we have one more author, Dr. Anyako, who's here with us. She's going to share her story. You can unmute yourself.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear?
Hello.
Hi. I am so thrilled to be here.
We are thrilled to have you. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I am Dr. Wando Anyoku. I'm a list of my credentials: MD, MPH, MBA, and best-selling Amazon
Yes.
Author. I actually can't believe it. It feels kind of surreal. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a little bit of a unicorn, where I work for a large health system on the West Coast and serve as the Chief Health Equity Officer. I'm a C-suite executive. I've been an experienced physician executive and leader, a coach, a mentor, and a speaker for many years. I also serve as strategic consultant to multiple organizations. And I'm a lifelong learner and an EBS student. I first got into EBS. I first encountered EBS as a speaker, actually. I was invited to speak to the class. So if you look in the podcast archives, I think I'm episode 73 or 78. So you can find me in there, sharing some of my experience, because I've been doing this work for many years within an organization. I still work for a healthcare organization, as do many physicians across the country. And what I do know for sure in that journey is just how challenging it is to find your voice, to maintain your joy, to remember why you're even a doctor in the first place, and just keep going, because sometimes it just feels like you're a cog in a really fast wheel and nobody really cares about your opinion or your passion. And I have been able to navigate that space and thrive for many years and support people in doing that. But it never occurred to me to actually make a business of it. This is a need that people require the support. I can do it. I've shown that I can. And you know, just how do you even think about taking the next step to actually tell your story, to tell people that, you know, I see where you are, I've been where you are, and I can show you a way to a different path, right? I can give you a different after story because I can help you with that. And being part of EBS has been incredibly helpful in just telling the story, telling people who you help. I help physicians and leaders who are struggling to navigate the healthcare system. I especially help underrepresented minorities because they tend to have a unique challenge in the healthcare workplace. And this has been my superpower for many years. And so being able to tell that story and say, yes, I know where you are, and I can help you do that. Being part of EBS has been incredible in helping me do that. And my chapter is chapter 5, Unstoppable Confidence, and really sharing how that has made such a big difference in my life, right? I'm sharing with you how I got to be in a place where I feel proud of who I am and what I can do, and can tell you how to feel proud of who you are and what you can do. One thing you'll hear about in EBS 100 times is how only 7% of people who apply to medical school get in, right? Get through it, practice. You are a part of a really tiny majority and you have incredible skills, but when you're in a pressure cooker, it feels like nobody values those skills, right? But it's just, you know, you're just this thing that is over there seeing patients every 15 minutes and somebody's ringing a bell of productivity over your head. And it hurts your heart, right? I always say that physicians feel like we bought a ticket on one train and ended up on a different one. And train, this is not the train I wanted to be on. I want to help people and I want to be able to have a family and love them and not yell at them because I'm tired. How do I get off this train? My interpretation is that entrepreneurship is a mindset, is a different way of thinking about life. And that's why the lessons that you learn here and the way you start to think about problems and putting yourself out there, they're applicable everywhere, right? I still haven't done my Facebook lives, mostly because I'm technically challenged, but I have all kinds of colleagues who are helping me to do this, so I will do it. But entrepreneurship is how you get off that train. It's how you think about, okay, what is a business? It's not a business until it's sustainable, right? We tend to be bleeding heart. We want to help people. That's why we studied and did all of that. But for it to be sustainable and for you to be able to help more people, you have to figure out a way to make it a business for it to actually be paid and not have any shame about getting paid for what you do. If any of you has ever met an attorney, they have no such issues. You get on the phone, they press the timer, they give you a big smile and they start counting your dollars. How do you deliver the care and the support that you need to people and do it in a way that is sustainable for you and for your life? Because we do this stuff and we think it's easy and that everybody knows about it, but everybody doesn't. It's our superpower. So Makeda, you know you're going to make me just keep talking, right? And I can keep rambling.
Yes, I don't want her to stop. I don't want you to stop.
So I'm
Like, Dr. Anyako, give me more confidence.
I love this stuff. I get excited about it. And so I can just keep talking about it. And, you know, my life before EBS was, you know, pretty decent. I was doing stuff, but I hadn't figured out how to build a system, right? I'm working for an organization. I'm like, really? So I build another system for this part of me. I tell a different story about this part of me, right? How do I tell this story in a way that gives a win to my organization and a win for me, so everybody continues to drive forward? So I put out my, you know, I posted my best-selling book, and my CEO bought it, and all the executive leadership team has bought it. Everyone has been, they're super excited about it. They're more excited than I am. They're hosting a launch party for me. They're like, you gotta come tell people about this. And I'm like, I want you to read it, because you're the CEO of a healthcare system, and these are voices of physicians. And I want you to know that this is what we're talking about, and this is a different way of thinking about how we engage. So it's been surreal. I think it was Dr. Hoffman who said, was it a year ago we started thinking about this? And, you know, Dr. Ona says, say yes, and then you'll figure it out later. So I'm like, wait, she says it much more eloquently than I do. But I'm like, okay, just say yes, and then you'll figure it out. And I'm like, okay, I said yes. So now what? All right, let's do this thing. And then we've done it. And here it is, right? So people wonder, should I do this now? Should I do this later? If all things go well and the creek don't rise, as they say, you'll be here 6 months, 1 year from now. Do you want to be in the same place? Do you want to find yourself? Because if you don't do anything different, you're going to be in the same position, thinking about it, you know, noodling on it, writing, journaling about it, dreaming about it, but not knowing how to move forward. And we are people who have learned how to do things. We've done hard things. Who talked about the Krebs cycle? You know, we've learned things that other people are like, how on earth, right? But we get into this new space, and it feels like the barrier to getting into it is so high, because I don't really know how to be a business person. But yes, you do. It's a different mindset. It's a different way of thinking about the skills that you already have. And being in a group that is so supportive, that is so informative, like you have questions like, how do I tell my story? And you just put it in the chat, and somebody tells you, oh yeah, well, that's this, and that. And you're like, oh, I might have got to it 6 weeks from now or 6 months from now, but you put it in the Commonwealth and boom, somebody crystallizes it, and it feels like the scales fell off your eyes, and you're like, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. I hadn't thought about it that way. And that really shortens the distance from where you are to where you're trying to go. And so for me, it's been just wonderful. And I'm a pediatrician, can you tell? And one of the things we talk about is the bolus and the maintenance. So we have bolus infusions where we have retreats, in-person sessions, and lives where you get all of it at once. And then you have ongoing maintenance. You have the podcast, you have the group, you have all of that keeps you going, that keeps you energized, because life likes to get in the way. So when life gets in the way, you check back in, and then you find a way to navigate through. That's been my journey. It's been incredible. Last night I got a call from, I live in Seattle. I moved here about 7 years ago. When I moved, there was a physician that I was introduced to as someone who knows all the areas and all the things to do and how to get myself connected. And she called me because she saw my book and she wants to know, tell me, how do I get to do some of the things you're doing? And I thought, wow, what a full circle moment, right? Because I was a newbie a couple of years ago, trying to figure out how to step forward. But being in this space and helping to advance my entrepreneurial mindset has given me a different platform, so that now those who I was referred to for help are coming to me for help. And I love to be able to help physicians, because we're hurting as a group, and we shouldn't hurt, because we are helpers. And so the Calvary is here. That's what the EBS represents. We're here taking back medicine. We're here taking back our stories. We're here taking back our passion and all the gifts that we have in our hands. We're here finding ways to deliver it and share as a responsibility. So I am super, super thrilled to be part of this group. I'm super thrilled to be one of the authors of this amazing book, which the title says everything. We were indeed made for more.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nyako. Can we give her a round of applause in the comments? My goodness. We are also moved and so inspired by everything you just said. Not just because it made us feel like this is a really incredible gift you have, because I'm already sitting taller. Feeling, is it just me? I'm already feeling more confident. I'm already feeling like, yeah. Dr. Conway wants to know when will be your first Facebook Live, because she wants to be on.
I have to give a date, and I
Yes.
will.
Dr. Nikita Shaw is there.
I know. I will.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. You know what? Another thing I love about your story, not just because of what you already have, but you said two important things. You said being in EBS has helped you take the skills you already have, find out, like, do an inventory. I mean, when you talk about, all of the things you've done an incredible amount of things, and you've been such a huge resource to so many companies and so many organizations. But to take that now in a way that it works for you, to take that now in a way that you're able to build something that you can leave a legacy with, that in the long run, it will continue to serve you. Even after you're not doing it anymore, it will continue to serve you, which is powerful. I really love that. And then I also love that you're doing in a way that you're able to get paid for it, because now you're even having paid speaking gigs, right?
Yes.
Yes. And you didn't see yourself as a speaker before EBS, I don't think.
Well, no.
You were doing it.
I was doing it because it was my job, right? I just did it, right? And so I was zip-zapping, and I was actually sitting with Dr. Una when I got the call for the first, my real speaking gig. And they asked me what was my price, and I was looking at her and I'm like, okay, I have to say something, otherwise she's going to be like, what are you doing? And so I did, and they met it. And I was like, wait, what?
I should have charged more.
Well, no, they had to struggle to meet it. So no, I couldn't really charge more right that day, but maybe next week. So I tell you, the confidence that it gives to have support is why I tell that story. Because you could kind of limp over there yourself and start with this amount and get there, but you're in this group and they see you as possible, right? They see you, there's the best kind of peer pressure, exactly. They see you as you can achieve anything. Just put a comment in the EBS Commonwealth. I'm like, of course you can do that. And absolutely you should charge that. And so you're like, well, if they're behind me, then I'm going to say that this is what I'm worth, and go and have that confidence to do it, which I might not have had without that support behind me and staring across the table at me that day. So, it's not a common phenomenon. Most groups, you find people are competitive. People don't want to tell you, what they did to get where they are, because they are afraid that you'll take away something from them. But at EBS, we think about expanding the pie. There is so much out there, and everybody, if I support you, it comes back to me. And that's a whole different way of thinking. And don't think it's common. It's not.
No, it's not.
So that mindset is incredibly valuable, and it has been really good for me.
Yeah, the level of support in EBS is not normal. It's not normal. It's a very curated community, and like you said, it's an uncommon phenomenon. There's something that I want to ask you, Dr. Nyako. I sometimes talk to different physician entrepreneurs, and they'll mention that they've taken this course and they've done that and they've done this, and you're very highly educated. Besides MD, you gave us some other some other degrees that you have. But I remember there was one time where you talked about getting the MBA, and your MBA is wonderful. It has served you, but you did a contrast with the MBA and EBS. Do you mind telling us about that?
Yeah, and as a physician leader, a lot of docs think that they have to have an MBA to be a leader. You don't. It helps you to have the language of business, so you can have those conversations at higher levels. But what the EBS structure does, though, is give you a way for you, as the CEO of Dr. U Incorporated, right, to build your brand, to create what you need to advance that model, right? If you get an MBA and you're working in a big organization, or even that's a different structure than you sort of taking your skills and putting that entrepreneurial lens on it and driving it forward. And then getting the tools, right? Things like, social media skills, or how to get an assistant and build a team. MBA doesn't teach you that. They assume you know that, right? And and you don't. So you're like, okay, so now what do I do next? So I know that there are lots of physicians who, in this group, who've started private practices, who are doing DPC, who are doing medical matchmaking, who are doing real estate businesses. There's also a whole universe of physicians who are still employed by healthcare systems. And we're going to need to have people in that space. And my mission is to help people to thrive in that space. How do you think about yourself and your brand while you are employed as, you're a specialist, you're, in this space where you maybe can't move just yet, or you're not ready to take that next step, or you don't really want to have a private practice. You like what you're doing and you want to continue to do that. There's a whole sea of physicians out there but there is a way to navigate the workforce, that healthcare organization, so that you thrive, so that you're successful, so you're not in pain all the time. And so those are the people I help to thrive as employed, or people working in academic or corporate medicine. It's, you'll hear everybody saying, oh, I can't do that anymore. Well, it's true, it's hard, but there are ways to do it. And so for some people, they can go, and that's great. And some people can fly airplanes, and that's great. Some people want to be where we are and do well without having pain every day. We're having the ability to rise to be a C-suite decision maker. How do you do that? That's who I help on an everyday basis. And my MBA didn't give me that path, but EBS gave me the language to tell people, this is how I can help you. And this is how I can tell you, bring you to a future that you can imagine now.
That is so great. And one thing, when I talk to people about the EntreMD Business School, what I always tell them is, Dr. Una teaches you business principles from a doctor's perspective. It's one thing about learning business principles, but learning them from a doctor's perspective is a whole nother story. That's why we're the only school of its kind, because it just opens up everything in a different level, so I want you to fill in an application. If you haven't already, fill in an application. Let's talk about it. Let's get you started to live in your dreams. Let's get you started to where Dr. Nyako is, where she's able to help other physicians to live their dreams, to know how to leverage themselves in their positions where they're currently working, and to do the things that matter most to you. So Dr. Nyako, one final thing, if somebody's on the fence with EntreMD Business School, trying to decide if, let's just say they're trying to decide if it's worth it financially, what would you tell them? They may be like, it sounds really good, but I don't, that financial investment seems a lot more than what I want to do for myself right now, or what I can do. What would you tell them? Or what I think I should do? What would you tell them?
What I would tell them is something that I learned as a way of framing things, is not to think about the process, but think about the outcome. Think about what it costs you to not be able to be happy and joyful with your family. Think about what it costs you to be burnt out and in pain every day. Think about what it costs you to not be able to take vacations with your family the way you want, to not get home on time and rest. Can you quantify those hours of misery? What is that worth to you? Don't think about the price like you're thinking about a pair of shoes. Think about it in terms of what that translates to in your quality of life. What does it cost you right now? And how much would you pay to make that pain go away? To have a different kind of life, to have a life where you wake up when you want to wake up, and you do homework with your kids, and you're laughing and you're teasing, and your marriage is stronger, and your work life is rewarding, and you remember why you went into medicine in the first place, because we all forgot, right? Because it's just so painful. What price would you put on that? Then compare it to the price of being in EBS. That's the true comparison. It's not the comparison to the cost of a purse or the cost of a trip. It's the comparison to the life you want versus the life you currently have.
That is unbelievable. Thank you so much for that. I mean, there's not much else to say after that. That is so, so powerful. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for sharing your inspiring story. We are so proud of you. We're rooting behind you. You know, when you go on Capitol Hill and start promoting bills for doctors, we're going to be right there beside you. You know, we're just really proud of what you're doing for physicians and your advocacy and for helping them to get their best lives. That is powerful. So I am just so grateful. Thank you everyone for coming on tonight. This has been an amazing time. Let me know in the chat what you thought about tonight. Hasn't this been amazing? Thank you for all our speakers, all our authors. All of you are incredible. Your stories are incredible. Your stories are inspiring. They are making us want to do more and more and really live our dreams. Feminine Fame, my friend, she loves the honesty. Dr. Una was here. She heard all of your stories. She's giving everybody fire, fire, fire. And I love this says, let us rise together. This is such an incredible community. Fill out an application. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. We can make your dreams come true together. And you don't have to sacrifice your family. You don't have to sacrifice your life. You don't have to sacrifice anything. Everything is in the group. The accountability you need, the coaching you need, and the community you need. It's all here. So fill out an application, and I look forward to seeing all of you. Thank you so much for this amazing time. And we might be able to do something next week. Let's see. We'll wait and see. So keep your eyes on your email. Good night, everybody. Thank you.